Global China is a high-end global multi-platform new media think tank, mainly composed of overseas Chinese scholars. We invited a number of scholars in Russia, the United States, China, Japan, and other places to comment on the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine, and made a series of videos on the topic. In this episode, we are joined by Zonglun from the Chinese-Russian Cultural Exchange Center in Moscow. Observations and reflections from Moscow. Observation 3. Russians are beginning to feel it. Since the Russia-Ukraine war, the nuclear bomb-level sanctions imposed by the United States and the West have poured on Russians like a storm. I have experienced many sanctions imposed by the United States and the West in Russia, and this one is the most comprehensive and the most severe. While Russians have become used to sanctions, they still feel some pain this time. A. Sugar is no longer available in shops. Sugar and buckwheat in several supermarkets near my home have been snapped up because people are afraid of price increase. B. Many Russians are out of work. Many foreign companies have opted to go out of business because of sanctions, and Russia's large state-owned enterprises have had to lay off workers because of the huge economic pressure. According to the statistics of the Russian Ministry of Labor and Social Protection, 59,000 jobs would be laid off in late March. C. Due to the suspension of payment methods such as Apple Pay and Google Pay, people are worried about the loss of their personal assets due to financial sanctions, and the amount of cash transactions has soared. Demand for cash has risen by an average of about 65% since March, according to the Russian Central Bank. D. The impact of Western sanctions on culture, art, internet, transportation, and real estate is gradually making Russians feel uneasy. In particular, if the culture and art that Russia is proud of are completely banned and sanctioned by the West, it will be more fearful than economic sanctions. If the war drags into a quagmire, such sanctions will be prolonged, which will have a greater impact on the Russian economy and the lives of ordinary people, and the impact on the younger generation will be more obvious. Observation 4. Wait and hope. I took the metro and got off at Kiev Station, which is a famous grand station where Line 3 meets the Circle Line. I have been to this station countless times, but this time I have a strange feeling. Now, when I look at the exquisite Ukrainian decorations and the mosaics depicting the friendship between the Russian and Ukrainian people to build a beautiful homeland, I think of the smoke of the Russian and Ukrainian war. Outside the metro is the Kiev railway station, the main railway line terminating in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine. It used to be the busiest transport artery in Russia, the largest, most spectacular, and luxurious among Moscow's 9 railway stations. But there has been no train to Kiev for 8 years. The station is empty and deserted. I recall that in Crimea, a railway from Kiev was also rusty and overgrown with weeds. In Russia, no one talks openly about war, but rather than being indifferent to the war, Russians voted with their actions. Some people expressed their support for the government and dislike for the United States in street interviews. Some people joined street protests and anti-war marches. Some people put up signs in subway stations that read, "If we want to oppose the war, please give me a hug." Others attended a rally in the stadium to show their support for the government. The dawn in Moscow is quiet, and the people are waiting in terrible calm. What is the great event that is to take place? In the torment of war and peace, the mood of Russians is complicated and contradictory. They were waiting for the good news that the war was over. As for who is right and who is wrong, it no longer matters. They just hope for an early peace. Of course, as civic-minded Russians, they would prefer this peace to be based on Russia's victory. To borrow a sentence from the Count of Monte Cristo, the Russian people are waiting and hoping in silence and calm. Log in to www.海外看世界.com, enter your email address at the bottom of the page, and click subscribe to receive all updates of the website on time.